All right.
Yeah.
A little bit past 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. Call the regular session of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to order. First item on the agenda is roll call. Thank you. Next, consideration of minutes. Do we have a motion to dispense with reading and approve as presented? Motion by Mr. Chastain. Second by Mrs. Albrook. If we have any discussion or deletions, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next is recognition of visitors. This time, if you have any item of business to bring before the board, please come forward, state your name, address, and we'll recognize you for a couple of minutes if you have anything to bring to the board.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Teresa Grover. I'm the new Main Street McMinnville Director, and I'm here to help and be a resource in any way that I can and do as much for the community as need be, and hopefully the extra mile more. So,
Thank you. You're welcome.
Good evening, Mandy Tyler with the Tourism Development Board. And you received the tourism update in the TV packet. So do you have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to communications. Letter from Bobby Kirby, McMinnville Triathlon, committee member requesting funding and support for this year's McMinnville City Triathlon scheduled for Saturday, September 5th. They're also requesting street closures on Garfield Street between Sunset Drive and Clark Boulevard and the inside lane of Clark Boulevard from DC Tire Post Road area to Flood Drive.
Motion to approve the letter.
Motion by Mr. Chastain,
Second.
second by Mr. Brock. All in favor, or do we have any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes.
There's one thing, we are gonna open the pool late that day. It'll be open 12 to 7.
Okay. Good.
Well, the triathlon's over by then.
Okay. That'll be good. That's been a really good event.
I think the only issue we had is the lack of cones to kind of keep the street where you can ride your bike on the outside lane and not have the cars. And I think there was a shortage last year. I think one year we had 250 or 300, last year maybe 100. We had to get some more from the county or something, but I think that's the only issue. They've got insurance and the tents and all that. Other places.
Frank, you know how many cones we have?
Here lately, we have been, a lot of them's been disappearing. So while
Just
we're,
taking them.
yeah, people out on the streets, whenever we set them out. So we have had a shortage here lately. We're about ready to buy some more. We normally buy 50 to 100 at a time. So.
All right. Let's get Frank. Next is a letter from Melissa Brown, Executive Director, Generations, Campbell Lodge Woodhouse, requesting permission to hold a 5K color run fundraiser in McMinnville on Saturday, May 16th from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. And they're using the pre-approved Route C2.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Brock, second by Mr. Chastain. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Okay, next we have public hearings, and item A is open this up to hear comments regarding zoning property located on Yeager Road, map 050J, Group A, parcel 005.01, from R1 Low Density Residential District to R2 Medium Density Residential District. So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing at this time, and if we have anybody that wishes to make a comment regarding this rezoning, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address and anything you have to say about it. Philip, is this your property? Yes. Okay, do you want to address the board and just let us know what that is, what you're planning to do with it? Sure.
My name is Philip Smith. I appreciate y'all letting me speak tonight. We purchased this property back in February of 2019 with the idea of one day maybe building residential properties on it. The more we got to do in research, we realized that there is a shortage in town of duplexes, newer duplexes specifically, that would be low affordable to people who live in the area. So we started looking around at the area. You've got the Yager Road Apartments, I believe is what's R2 there in the map. The house next door used to be, I can't remember who owns it, but the man named Mr. Treadway owns it now. He's fixing it up, making it look a lot better. It's really improving that area. He's got 1.5 acres there. So then we started getting the idea that we've got good proximity to the city, we've got good proximity to Walmart, to the main arteries of Nimble, that maybe rezoning it to R2 and putting in duplexes might be a better option for us as opposed to just building single-family residences. And so that's when I decided to meet with the planning commission and bring the idea for them, possibility of rezoning it to R2 and having the opportunity to build duplexes if we decided to. We've also been doing research on building condos, which would be maybe 2 of those units on each parcel with the opportunity for to provide housing to people with proximity, maybe dress up that area a little bit. So that's where our motivation is coming from.
That's 2 separate lots that you're requesting rezoning. Are you going to combine the lots, or are you going to build one duplex on each lot?
We're going to keep it separate. We've got a current request, well, not a current request, we're working on a request, and we're working with Earl Smith, who's a surveyor, to maybe look at making 3 lots out of a parcel, and that would help us bring more property, more housing to that area. But that's in the development stages. We've got the initial plat for Mr. Smith, and it looks like there is enough road frontage and setbacks to be able to accomplish that. But I'm still working with Kinesis on that, and right now, we would keep it separate, and we would build separate units.
Does anybody have any questions, Mr. Smith?
But you have no plans to get a special exception to do multifamily?
We really haven't gone that far yet. I wouldn't say that it would be out of the question, but it's not something that we pursue at this time.
And I was wondering what school that affects. Is that West Elementary or County Ray or?
I believe it's
North side.
I believe it's not right.
Bobby Ray.
I have to check on it, but I believe it's not right.
I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing on this first because we have a public hearing on the second lot too. So we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on parcel 005.01, and then we'll move into the public hearing for comments regarding rezoning property located on Yager Road, map 50J, Group A, parcel 5.02, from R1 low density residential district to R2 medium density residential unit.
Please make the minimum square footage allowance for how many units? If you did go with condos, I'm sorry, you were asking me something.
I'm just asking about the minimum square footage requirements for this.
14,000.
How much?
14,000 square feet
For how many units?
for duplexes. So for 1 unit, for one structure, 2 units.
In R2, it's 7,000, I think it's 7,500 for the first unit, and then 7,000 more for each additional dwelling unit to accommodate the need for that space.
If he did go with condos, though, you'd have to go to R3, would you?
No.
Okay,
Mhm.
you wouldn't?
No. Mhm.
You have to subdivide another planning commission if you're, right?
That's right.
What was the planning commission's recommendation?
To approve.
Do we have anybody else from the public that wishes to make any comments regarding this? Okay, I think the public hearing has gone on adequate time. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing on the second parcel. Thank you for coming. We'll still vote on it a little bit further down on the ordinances, so just stick around because we haven't voted yet, and there may be more discussion. Okay, we'll move on to item 6, unfinished business. Does any board member have any unfinished business?
Yeah, you might want to talk about that.
Sure. We received a letter from TDOT on our request to pull on Omni Drive, pull the median back and half of that as a turn lane. And the department is in receipt of resolution number 2102 concerning the addition of a left turn lane to Omni Drive. The request to incorporate a left turn lane at the intersection of Omni Drive was not included in the original scope of work for the subject project. On further review of the scope change documented in the resolution, the Department's Traffic Engineering Office does not recommend the addition of the turn lane. Other concerns, the addition of a left turn lane at this location would create operational and safety issues on State Route 1. Any further comments as the people that contact there? It's not saying that they won't do it, they don't recommend it. I don't know where that leaves us.
I'll find out tomorrow when I talk to the guy and
Okay.
see what,
And I don't think it necessarily has to be left turn lane only, because there's things on the other side of the street that could just be an open turn lane.
Well, you're just telling us, hey, we need to cross the street. Just keep on telling it.
Yeah.
I think that one is the bid issue.
We need to be able to cross while we're doing it.
You can, just run
I
fast.
know.
Oh, their idea of our input is very, very limited.
But I thought we did ask this already.
Oh, they did. They did. And then we gave it and they said no.
It's kind of like I asked my daughter, do you want to work on your letters tonight?
Or he can, you know.
She might tell me that she can.
Having limited,
Another item,
real limited.
unfinished business, is we've got this time capsule here laid out. Took it down to the library, and Brad down there had his staff catalog everything, take pictures of it, scan it in, and just document what it is. And he gave me a flash drive that is up here, and it has everything in it. So we can keep that at the city somewhere, probably make a copy of it and keep that. I don't know if we put it on our website. There's a lot of things we could do with it just to make that available. It's a pretty neat find. Raymond Hell's crew was working on the building last week and kind of stumbled across it. It was put there in 1969 when the building was finished, and has just a lot of really neat history in there. There's a Southern Standard from 1902. There's another magazine from the early 1900s that has a section in there about McMinnville and a lot of different pictures of things. I think some of the neatest things are the old ads that are in there, the advertisements of some of the things that we still see around today that were in there. Letters from the Chamber of Commerce, from Mayor Blue are in there, and just a really neat collection of things. We've talked about bounced around ideas on what to do with this. I think one of the things we need to do is put it back, put the lid back on it. It's a handmade copper box. Put it back, but I'd like to put some things from our time in there. One would just be a letter that we found it by accident and we cataloged it, tell what we did with it, and then what we're putting in it, so that whoever else finds it in the future has it. I'd like to put a copy of the Southern Standard edition that has the article about the time capsule in there. That particular issue also has things about the coronavirus that's going on. It talks about the tornadoes and the volunteers that we have that are working on that. So there's some really neat, I think, interesting news events that are going on. It also has just regular things that go on in everyday life too, with our the athletics page, the sports page that's in there, and talks about that and all the people that are in it. So I think it's just a good kind of just snapshot of today in time. I think that would be good to go in. I also like to take a picture of the board. If you ever had the idea of taking a picture of our board and put it in there, Lisa Hobbs at the Standard had the idea of having a picture from downtown McMinnville as it is currently, and have that go in there as well. So there's not a ton of extra space, so we can't put everything in there, but I think those are all really good ideas to do. So if anybody else has any other ideas of something you'd like to do, it's not something that we have to, I don't think, take a vote on or anything, but I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention. And then I talked with Wayman Hale after they found it, just to let us know when they have a subcontractor that will be putting the material over that wall. So I've asked him to let us know when they're doing that so we can make sure we get this box put back in before they cover it up. It'd probably be a good idea to somehow, once they get that material put back over it, we could put in a small plaque or drill in and attach a small plaque to that part of the wall that just says what's behind it. 'Cause we didn't know what was there. I've talked to Dickie Hillis, who, he was a banker there for a long time. He started working there just a few years before the completion of that rebuilding project. And he remembers all of this happening, the pictures that are up here, and then them placing this box inside the building before it was covered up. So there are some people here that still know about it. I asked if there was any plan for the future of what to do with it. He said no, they just thought they'd put it in there for somebody to find later. Well, we are here and we are later. So I think we could do the same thing, just put it in with no time in mind to reopen it, just have it there. If you have any other ideas, just contact me or Nolan, and we can see what we can do about it. Do we have any other unfinished business? Hearing none, we'll move to new business. Item A is appointments and reappointment to the Historic Zoning Commission. I think I'll make these and get confirmation from the board. I'd like to have Rachel Kirby on there, Teresa Prober, Preservation Advocacy Organization Representative, Rachel Killebrew, that's a reappointment. She's a patriotic organization representative. Rachel, you would be a new member, but I think with your knowledge of downtown and having a building down here, I think you'd be a good member for that. I have a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Chastain, second by Mr. Neal. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Thank you. Rachel, thank you. Next is discuss authorizing mayor to sign all documents related to Tennessee Complete Count census projects. Who's our census representative now from the city that's been going to those? Katie,
Yes,
what are some of the things that I need to sign?
I have a grant contract for you to sign, and then I have some paperwork that I think it's Shirley is more appropriate for Shirley to sign. It has to do with our audit status and stuff like that. So I have all those documents here tonight. I can get your signature, and then Shirley, if you need more time to fill out those documents, you can coordinate and get them. And then I have a couple other things, but it's a W-9 in a direct deposit form, so I'll get that from Shirley as well. So the contract looks pretty straightforward.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Neal, second by Mr. Chastain. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Thank you. Next is resolutions. We have resolution number 2104, resolution of the City of McMinnville, Tennessee to accept the low bid from Company Madwire LLC and enter into an agreement with Company Madwire LLC in the amount of $995 per month for the next 6 months, then month to month thereafter, to provide marketing services for the Park Theater and to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement and to express the time when the resolution becomes effective. Motion by Mr. Chastain, second by Mr. Harvey. Do we have any discussion on this? Kevin made a presentation to us in our last meeting, and I think this will be pretty good for the Park Theater. We need to get good advertising done and let people that really know what they're doing take on that task. Do we have any further discussion? Call for a vote.
Mr. Chastain?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mrs. Osborne?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Aye.
Mrs. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to ordinances. Ordinance number 1795, an ordinance of the City of McMinnville, Tennessee, to change the zoning classification of a property located on Yeager Road, map 050J, Group A, parcel 005.01, from R1 Low Density Residential District to R2 Medium Density Residential, and to express the time for this ordinance to become effective. This is the first reading.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Chastain, second by Mr. Brock. Any discussion? Hearing none, go ahead.
So is the fact that it touches R2 on the back, I guess, keeps it from being spot zone?
Yeah, that's our conclusion. We looked at, can I come reverse
Sure.
spot zoning? So that parcel to the right of the pink, if these two become R2, then that is still R1. So is it reverse spot zoning? And what the conclusion that we came to is that, and then what the planning commission seemed to accept, was that R2 is not too much different from R1. R2 is still harmonious in this area for what the land use policy plan wants. And R2 also, in the staff, it shares all the uses, and as you noted, there are a number of things that are special exception uses. So anything over a duplex requires that special exception. So more kind of intense uses of in R2, there's kind of a break. It requires the BZA to make sure that that's appropriate for that area. So because of that, we thought that it didn't isolate that in a way that was inharmonious to kind of to what it can do in R1. If that makes sense. I don't even know if inharmonious is a word, but I hope you get my drift.
Was this a unanimous vote?
I believe so. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't remember. I think it was too.
I think it was.
The only thing that's the only thing that bothers me about it is that you could potentially go from R1 to apartment buildings. Granted, you have to get a special exception to do it, but that's very possible, you know, I mean, and
And it's not a large lot in between two homes. If it were to go any bigger to an apartment.
That one to the right, is it got a house on it?
It has a single family home on it. Yep.
on either side.
On either side, yeah. Mhm.
Did he show up to contest it or anything?
This one faces Meadowbrook. This one on the left-hand side faces Meadowbrook Road, so it faces Meadowbrook, the house does.
And they're doing work on the other one to
I
the
thought they
right.
both faced.
There's a sign in front of it, there's a big sign in front of it.
They both faced, I thought they both faced shade.
Oh, I thought it faced Meadowbrook. I turned on Meadowbrook and I thought that
Well,
little brick house was.
Did we put signs out there about tonight's hearing?
We put out a sign that says there's a rezoning request, or I think, yeah, rezoning request, and then that just says, call us for more information, and then we sent letters both before the planning commission and before this meeting to the adjacent properties that, to those two, saying that there's a meeting tonight and to invite them to come.
You sent them letters.
Nobody showed up at the zoning commission?
No, no.
You gotta go twice, right?
Yes. Do we have any further discussion? Call for the vote.
Mr. Chastain?
Yes.
Mr. Brock?
Aye.
Mrs. Osborne?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mrs. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes. Thank you. Next is ordinance number 1796, an ordinance of the City of McMinnville, Tennessee, to change the zoning classification of a property located on Yeager Road, map 050J, Group A, parcel 005.02 from R1 low density residential district to R2 medium density residential, and to express the time when this ordinance becomes effective. This is the first reading. I say we vote this one down. That's too much. Motion by Mr. Chastain, second by Mrs. Alsbrook. Do you have any discussion? Of course, this is just the property adjoining the property that we just voted to change. Hearing no discussion, call for vote.
Mr. Chastain?
Yes.
Mrs. Osborne?
Yes.
Mr. Brock?
Aye.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Cuddy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Yes. Passes. Thank you very much. We'll have another reading at our next meeting, okay? Next item on the agenda is departmental reports. Do you have any department heads tonight that wish to make a report to the board? Mr. McCord?
Soccer started practicing, at least when it's not raining. Baseball and softball is finished registering. We're working on getting all the coaches. We're just a few lacking. Draft should begin soon. This past week, we had the take and bake. We had 13. It was truly successful. Everett's going to start his own bakery. Sally says it's too much bread. So we are having the touch truck coming this Saturday, and I took a picture, so I wouldn't forget.
Did you get a tank?
We tried, but they've been busy down in Putnam County, the National Guard. 2 food trucks, 2 tractor trailers, a drill truck, 2 cinnamon mixers, a bucket truck, digger, semi, tow truck, 2 fire trucks, ambulance, helicopter. I can't use writing. We'll skip that. Mini excavator, 2 Chevy trucks, that's what it says. Backhoe, police cars, we're doing a car seat check, and some small trucks. So, and if that is Saturday 11 to 1, if by chance it's raining, which does look that way, you can make up the Friday night after.
Okay.
And we're working on the scavenger hunt and the Easter egg hunt already, so, and that's what I have. And Dream Realities Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Little Mermaid.
Baseball and softball.
I think he was at about 350, 360.
And they're still increasing. We've had a few lates, so.
Is that up
Close
from
to-
last year?
Close to last year.
Close.
Yeah, hair down.
Civic Center?
What do we got? Percentage wise?
I think it's 58.3.
They started priming, Porter Roofing finished the roof this weekend. And my guys have gotten 3/4 of the LED lights installed, so it's pretty good.
It's really looking a lot different now.
Thank you. Any other department head wish to make a report? Chief Maker?
I will let y'all know that, y'all know what happened up in Fulton County, and they called about 3:30 that morning, that they need help, so they got hold of me, and then I, have them call, make people come in and everything, so we seen, right out the back, we seen 8 guys up, and with, all equipment, we can put on truck 1, and then, the next day, we seen 13 back, and another ship went to go, and 3 off the ship that went the day before. So, in all together, they spent about 242 man-hours up there, and they come back with a lot of good information of how to set one up, if something ever happened to you. I hope it don't. But, we are going to try training on it, setting up stuff to see what we need, what we don't need, what we need.
That's a good idea.
So, but they say, they got it, they had it good, probably. They said they had everything set up good. Time I got there, put people where they need to go, and then they start calling them out in groups to go out, you know. So, I hope it doesn't do that to him. I don't, but, we all know that it can any time to get the time of the year in, so we're gonna be ready as we can.
Good.
So, and the guys, I felt they, a lot of them had never been on nothing like that, and they opened their eyes to what we need to do around here, so.
That's good that they're going up there. I'm glad you're sending them up there for help and help us.
Right,
It does that.
yeah, and like I say, I mean, if we need them, they will be right here for us too, so, I mean, so what we, well, we get what we're here for, help each other in time of need like that.
Thank you.
So, all right, thank y'all.
Anyone else?
Just gonna let you know, sewer camera equipment did finally come in. We demoed it last Monday, and we've been using it the last week. We brought down 2 months worth of work, so I think they even used it on the stormwater. We did, we used it on the storm drain line
I saw
from
that out there.
Morrissey
Dale.
Street going behind Westwood Church of Christ, and we found some issues that we think may be the cause of some of the flooding there, so
Good.
that was today. Everybody seems to be impressed. I'm impressed. Hopefully it dries up a little bit, we'll redo Center Street. If anybody does want to be included in that, I'll be glad to call them. Okay, you did interest on seeing it, once we redo it, with the camera. But yeah, he called and said we've had to take a week and we've been down 2 months worth of work, so.
Good.
But everything's in, it's complete. I'll let you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Did you want to talk about the,
Yes. Yeah, let's, we had a prayer vigil, this Sunday, this past Sunday at 5. It's a pretty good showing, and we accepted donations that will go to the Cookville, Putnam County Tornado Relief Fund. And we raised, I believe the final number with an additional $100 check that came in was $2,759. And we've got to get that up there to Putnam County somehow and deliver it to them. I think a lot of the checks that are made out are to the relief fund. So I didn't know, so we could write a letter and mail it to them, or have somebody deliver it to them personally. Whatever the board thinks is a good idea on that, we can do. Anybody have any thoughts on the best way to hand that over?
Yeah.
Okay. We can do that. Nolan, do you just want to send out emails, organize a time to do that?
I can do that.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I thought that was really good. We had, I don't know how many people showed up.
I'd say 200, 250 maybe.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Steve set up his sound equipment there. We really appreciate that. Everett helped set up and organize that. Joe Harvey came and led everybody into Amazing Grace. And then we had the Bryan College singers come up, and that just blew me away. They were so good. I didn't know there were going to be 45 of them. I thought it was maybe 10 or so, but they were just really good. We had some of our church leaders come up there and say some things as well. I thought it was really good service. And I do want to say thank you to Chief Mayfield for sending his guys up. I know that that's something that was just a really good thing to do for the double reasons. I didn't realize that it was so helpful for us too, to get some of that training and see what it could. If it happens to us, what are the things we need to do? So that's really good. But it's helpful for them, and it's not something that'll end anytime soon. So I know that we may have other guys going up there in the future. I know that Brian Denton, Chief Denton, has sent guys up there, I think today, and maybe sending other guys up. One of the things that Major Jason Walker from the Sheriff's Department spoke about going up there was that their people up there that are helping, the ones that, work for the city and county, they're getting worn out, and they need time to go sleep, and they don't have people just, run 24-hour shifts. So a lot of the people that come in from out of town will help at night to kind of just keep the peace and stay out there, make sure there's no looting and things like that. So that's, our people going up really give their people a rest, because it's been very hard on them. But I think that we appreciate our guys being willing to do that, and I think that we should keep sending guys up as much as they need. So thanks to all of our city employees who have helped with that. Do we have any announcements?
I sent out a text message everybody while we were here, but there's a White House coronavirus briefing tomorrow for state and local governments, and so you have to register your phone number and get a passcode to join on, but it's tomorrow at noon. And so if anybody wants to call in, did you get it?
I'm registered for
You're
it
registered,
already.
okay, good.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if the department heads or anything need to be on there, but it's just something that TML sent out that I found might be helpful.
It's TML.
Mhm.
Okay, you sent that link through?
I did,
Okay.
yeah, it should be.
Yeah, that's something that I don't know if I don't know who would coordinate those types of efforts if we had some type of major outbreak that, where people start canceling schools or canceling other things that they've done in other countries and in some other states. If it gets to be the point here where that gets bad, I assume we have an emergency management agency chief
We do.
that will help coordinate those types of things. But, if it becomes bad here, then we would need to be concerned about shutting the city down, some employees, except for just the essential employees, if it came to that point.
We do have an emergency operations plan that was adopted in 2013.
Does
We
that cover
also,
things like this?
it doesn't specifically say this type of thing, it's more of natural disasters. So we may need to update it to cover these types of things.
Okay.
In 2018, we formed an ad hoc security committee, and I'm not sure if that was meant for something like this, or if that was more of
More toward
cybersecurity.
tornadoes.
Okay.
I don't see why I couldn't talk about this too, just so that in case it gets bad here, if we get a lot of people with,
No, former Mayor Haley created that one in wake of all the mass shootings that
That's right.
were really going on at the time. And we met a couple of times. I know the police department had the SWAT commander do a couple presentations and stuff like that, and then we never met after that. So but it was more geared toward active shooter scenarios than natural disaster or viruses or anything like that.
okay. Well,
Maybe we need to revisit, maybe we could call another ad hoc.
I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Who's on that?
I'm the chair of it, and unless you want it, Mike.
I got a copy of that. I don't think I've read this because it does.
Let's find out who's on it and call a meeting on that, have Chief Maple come and,
Mr. Chastain is the chair, Mr. Neal, and then Ms. Osworth.
okay.
Yeah, I'll call him
Do we have any other announcements? Okay, thanks for sending that link. All right. There are no more, we will stand adjourned. Thank you.